Welcome back to part 26 of the Bugatti Bolide design in SolidWorks. Alright, so in last tutorial in 25 we created these surfaces here, and then in this tutorial part 26 we're going to delete these surfaces here and we're going to recreate it. We're going to approach it and attack it from a different way, a much better way, because we want to bleed onto these exhausts here. So to do that, what we're going to do here is going to come down here and then we're going to delete this mirror. And then we're going to delete this boundary surface. We're going to delete this sketch here. And we're going to delete this one here. Okay, and we're going to leave this one on this section because that's good, but then we will probably adjust it further along the line. But the one thing I want to do here quickly, I want to jump to the back here, and as we can see, the point is not exactly in the center, so I want to do that. I want to put that in the center, so I want to click on that line and I want to delete this here. Actually, this point here, actually, not the tangency. I want to delete that one. Let's do that again. Exit the sketch, double click, and let's just delete that. And just maybe pull that coincident. That's it. That's the one. So delete that, and we're going to pull that to the center. Okay, so that's centered right there. Okay, so that's good. Alright, so as I said before, we're going to approach this surface differently. So instead of doing it this way, piece by piece, we're going to do it this way, and then we're gonna cut the sections out. So first of all, I want to jump into back here, and I want to create a surface that extrudes in or over these exhausts. So what I want to do is I want to add a plane on this here. So exit the sketch. Okay, so exit that sketch, and then I want to add a plane on this face here. So add plane on this face, right? And we're going to add that plane in a reverse direction, and we're just going to do 0.5 here, and then that's enough. Will stick out from the surface from there, so press OK on that one. All right, and then the next thing I want to do is I want to jump in the back here real quick, and then I want to go to sketches, 3D sketch, and I want to get a center line out. So if I hover over this edge, it will show us the center point, which is this one here. And I'm just going to pull the center line all the way out to about here. Okay, so it's just not exactly under this surface, but a little bit back so we have some room to play with. Exit the sketch. Okay, and then once we have that one, I'm going to exit the sketch, and I'm going to make a sketch on this plane that we just created. So make a sketch on this plane, and then I'm going to add a 3-point arc starting from this point up to this point. So I want to get it to about the same distance on each side, roughly. And I'm just gonna pull that up to about here, maybe a little bit up, so it has a nice curvature on that one, on that surface. Actually, I want to make that a little bit. I want to make that a little bit tighter. So let's get a 3-point arc and then just drop it. So again, let's go back to this plane, make a sketch on this plane, and then let's grab that 3-point arc and then bring it from about here to, again, same distances to about here, and then we're gonna pull it up to about this far, and then we're going to exit the sketch. Okay, so that's going to be a good distance, and because we have a nice plane, that will follow that one, of course. Okay, so exit this sketch here, and then now we're going to jump into a 3D sketch, and then we're going to grab that center line, and we're going to bring that center line, the 3D sketch center line, from this point. So not from this line, from this point. And of course we can be in Y and X. Y and X. Okay, so that's going to be a nice straight line, and we're going to pull that line all the way about. We want to make that straight, so we're going to pull that surface in all the way to about here. Okay, so that's so that our surfaces is going to bleed into that surface. So that's what we aim to accomplish. So let's exit this one here, and then now we're going to jump to another plane and click on this line and this point and add that plane on that. Okay, and now we're going to make a sketch on this plane, and then we're going to do a converted entities, and this is the sketch that we're going to convert, and that was going to jump onto that plane right there. Okay, so now all it's left to do is we're gonna go to surfaces and exit sketch, and we're going to do a boundary surface between that sketch and this sketch here. Okay, so that completes that surface. All right, and if you look back, we have a nice angle on that surface end as well. Okay, so we're gonna leave that here for now, and then we're going to leave this here for now, and the next sketch we're going to do is we're just going to jump into the side view here for a second, and then we're just gonna make sure that let's just drop a glass appearance on this body here on the whole thing, so we can see where we are with everything. So as the surface comes down, let's add the glass appearance on this wing as well. All right. So as the surface comes down, I want it to bleed into that surface on which we will make a cut. Okay. So if you click on this line and edit this sketch a little bit further, and if we pull the line just about here, it will give us a nice bleed on inside into that surface right there. Okay, so exit this sketch. All right, and then the second sketch, let's remove these appearances for now. Let's remove these appearances, and the second sketch is going to be on this edge here somewhere. Okay, so let's bring in our first display state, and then let's jump on the top. Okay, and then we're going to add the glass appearance here on the whole thing, so we can see where we need to add that second sketch. All right, so it's going to be another 3D spline starting from this point, and then yeah, starting from this windshield here, right? So we want to leave some space for this wind piler to come down on it. So I'm just going to drop that sketch here, not here, well, a little bit here, and we can pull it back afterwards. Okay, and I'm going to add it. I'm going to add the sketch onto this line here. Onto this line somewhere here, which we can move around. Okay, and then let's pull this point somewhere about here. As I said before, we're gonna leave some room for the wind piler to have some thickness, and then we're just going to pull that line to accommodate that, to accommodate this line here. So pull the line to here as well, and somewhere about here. And now let's fix it up from the side as well. Okay, so we can see already that we need to pull this line up to accommodate the window piler, and we will check the tolerances, what the blueprint will let us do. So we're gonna pull this up to here, and following that line. And of course, with this sketch, we also want to make sure that we sort of following our first sketch here. So let's pull that line to about here to accommodate that line, and then pull this line to about here, and then let's just click on this line, and that make sure that we will have a nice bleed onto that surface, and it looks to be alright from this side. So let's have a look from the top. Alright, so as we can see, we need to actually pull back just a little bit here, and we're gonna find that sweet spot for these lines to be accommodated. So somewhere about there, and let's jump on the side view here. All right, so I think that's the best we can do in terms of accommodating that window piler on the top part. Maybe we just pull it up a little bit here, and and make sure that we are bleeding nice onto the surface over there. And let's just check again from the top. All right, and then yeah, that's the best we can do for now with this line to accommodate that surface. All right, so let's jump back into our second display state. And as we can see, we will bleed into that. Let's just double check that we will bleed into that nicely. So if we click on that line, we will bleed onto that surface. All right, and if we're not bleeding onto it enough, then obviously we will fix that. Okay. All right, so the first surface we're going to create is going to be this, between this surface and this surface edge here. And then to do that, of course, we need to create a 3D sketch all the way from here to here. All right, and at this point, we're not going to add a 3D sketch on the windshield. Okay, so exit this sketch. And we're going to start our 3D sketch from this end here. We want to get right in that edge right here. And we're just going to follow along this edge here. And we're gonna come all the way to the end of this surface. All the way to the edge. Exit the sketch. And that completes that sketch right there. Exit this sketch. All right. And then we're gonna jump into the back here. And we can actually pull this a little bit closer. Just a tiny bit closer to that one. Okay. And that won't cause much effect for us. All right, and then we're gonna do another 3D sketch through this spline, starting from this point down to this point here. Exit the sketch. Okay, and then exit this sketch, and we're gonna go and try to do our boundary surface now with these sketches. So let's go to surfaces, boundary surface, and click the right click button and selection manager, and click this line and press OK. And again, selection manager, click this line, press OK. And for direction 2, we're gonna use this surface here, and then we're gonna pull this point back until we see the black dot. Okay, and that registers right there. And of course, we need to select a small straight line back here. Okay, so without that, so clear selection. Okay, so it did select it, so that's good on its own. So press OK. Let's have a look at the surface. All right, so we lost this one here. So let's go back here and edit the feature. Okay, so direction 2, let's select this face here and pull it back to the black dot. Okay, and let's come to the back here and let's do a selection manager this time and select the line and press OK. All right, so that did it. So let's have a look at the surface now. Okay, so this is exactly the surface that we've been going after, and we will have place for the wind piler as well. However, I want to go back here to check something, if I can do that. Okay, and I want to try to add tangents to the face on this one. So tangents to the face here, and obviously that's okay. All right. So it did add the tangents to the face, kind of, even though it said it didn't, but it did. It's kind of a small trick, tricking the system. So if we look back here, that looks good. Okay, so that completes that. That's perfect. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, because this edge here and this edge here is bleeding onto that surface, what we're going to do is we're going to go to boundary surface and do a selection manager and select this line, press OK, and selection manager, select this line and press OK. And for direction 2, let me go and do another selection manager and select these lines here. Okay, obviously need to pull this point back to that until we see a black dot. Okay, so that registers right there, and everything looks good in the back here. So we're going to press OK. Okay, so our bleeding into that surface is actually not bad. I want to bleed a little bit more onto that surface. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this yeah, I'm going to click on this surface here. I want to click on this surface here, come into this line, and I want to edit the sketch. Actually, before doing that, I just want to mirror it over and see if we have any dents between the two surfaces. So let's do that. Let's go to mirrors, so features, mirror, and then for mirror face, let's use the front one, and for bodies to mirror, it's going to be these two here. Okay, so that's not much of a dent. However, what we can do is to get rid of this dent, we can maybe move up this sketch a little bit up. So let's go into here and click on this sketch and edit this middle sketch here. And let's get into the side view. And we're just going to pull this up in this direction a little bit. And let's have a look. Alright, so straight away we can see that the bleeding amount is different on both ends, so that's not good. So let's do a Ctrl Z. And let's do a Ctrl Z again to get that line back down. And then what I'm going to do is exit the sketch and exit this edit mode, right? And I'm going to go to feature tree and I'm going to delete this mirror. Delete the mirror. And I'm gonna go back in this here, and I'm gonna edit this sketch actually. So I just want to pull this line a little bit lower. And as we can see, we need to pull this a little bit more up. Just a tiny bit more up this way. Okay. And then let's exit the sketch. And let's have a look at the surface. Yeah, so the bleed amount is a lot better now. And let's mirror it over. So let's use the front plane, and then bodies to mirror is this face here. Okay, so obviously we haven't mirrored this surface over. So what we're gonna do is delete this mirror, delete the mirror, and what we're going to do is go to surfaces and extend surface, and we're going to extend this edge. Okay, and we're going to go to trim surfaces, and we're going to use the trim tool for this is going to be a trim tool. Actually, clear selections. This is going to be a trim tool. Well, let's try that again. So trim tool is going to be let's try different. Let's delete that. Okay, and let's extend this surface about that much. Okay, and let's go to surfaces, trim surface, and let's use this as a trim tool, and we're going to trim this inside part out. Okay, so trim that out. All right, so now that created one surface, and then we just need to go to delete this small surface here that we use to extend the surface. So delete face. Okay, and then obviously we have a small piece here which we will get rid of. So the small piece here and then here that we will get rid of in the next tutorial. All right, so now we have this made into one surface. What we're going to do also, we're going to fix up these surfaces here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to mirror these surfaces over. So let's go to features, mirror, mirror for front plane, and bodies to mirror is going to, let's do that again. So mirror and clear the selection. So front plane and bodies to mirror is this one and this one here. All right, so now we have a nice consistent bleed on surfaces on this one, and then we have to mirror over one more surface, is this surface here. So let's go to mirror. Let's use again the front plane, and then bodies to mirror is going to be this one here. All right, so that's looking very good, and thanks very much for staying with me in this tutorial. And in the next tutorial, we're going to fix up some of these dents here that we have to make it more smoother, and we're going to just fix up some of these hanging bits over here, and then of course we're gonna come down with these surfaces here, and I'll cut out some side windows as well, and some other bits. Alright, thanks very much for staying with me in this tutorial, and I see you back in the next one. Bye.